Hi guys, Athena's here, and it is definitely allergy season. And I have been suffering. I live in a little warmer climate, so it hits us first. If you're in colder climate, it's gonna be hitting you soon, if not already. I love this time of year though. I mean, the sun is out. This is the time that we plant for summer gardens and everything is blooming and it's beautiful and it starts to smell good, but it wreaks havoc on us. And I think that maybe that's from years of food and water and environmental damage that we're like at a tipping point already, like that's our constant state. So all it takes is for a lot of grasses and flowers and citrus and different things to bloom, and all of a sudden you're just over the edge. And I see it in my town for sure, that all of a sudden people can't wear their contact lenses, they're using the inhaler, this starts. And then I saw the seasonal allergy commercials, of course. But I didn't even need to see those because I'm in tune with my body and I was already experiencing it. So I have some tips to help you through that time. And I just want to say, if you are using over-the-counter methods for allergies and you have an inhaler, I'm not suggesting that you abandon all of that because you know what works for you. You have an important meeting and the allergies can be almost debilitating sometimes. So do what you got to do. I am suggesting merely that some daily practices, some of those go-to things that are as needed, you will as need them less and less. So I have a curious story. I went grocery shopping and my allergies had hit me hard. The older I get, the worse it gets. I mean, more exposure to environmental damage and food and water and issues that way. So I had the mask on and I had a sneezing fit, like 10 in a row, where it's rapid. And if you have bad allergies, you've been there before. In this culture that we're living in now, though, if you're in the grocery store and you have a sneezing fit, oh my gosh. I mean, the dirty looks and everything. It was a crowded store and I was a little annoyed because it is hard to deal in a crowd right now energetically, and you know what I'm talking about. But at the point that they were all clearing out of aisle 9 to get away from me, and I felt a bit rejected, like, don't run away, I'm not dirty, it's allergies. All of a sudden, a sense of calmness came over me. They all abandoned that aisle, and I had free reign to take my time, pick out my stuff, read labels, stuff that I like to do without the sense of urgency, without the annoyance of the crowd. And between you and me, we're gonna keep this between us. I'm thinking about even faking a sneezing attack as time goes on if I'm annoyed. That's between us. And all kidding aside though, I do have some tips for you for daily practices to take the edge off. It may not cure the whole thing. It is a natural kind of occurrence with stuff blooming, grasses, flowers, all kinds of stuff. And as lovely as it is, the weather is getting good, the sun is out, you want to be outside. I mean, how can you navigate this and not wreck yourself and still make it to all the obligations you have and not have big runny red eyes? That's where it hits me. Big swollen watery eyes and coughing and sneezing, and I even run a slight fever. So when they want to take your temperature somewhere, I'm like, well, I'm out because I have allergies. And this has been going on for probably the last couple decades. So and it just progressively gets worse because of environmental issues and stress. I mean, your inflammatory response to stress a lot of times is allergies, food, and so forth. But for seasonal allergies, I do have some tips for you. And one of them is the foods that we eat. And I know that we hear this and we get tired of hearing this, but we're looking for stuff that has quercetin in it, and that's with a Q. Quercetin. I believe that's how it's spelled, quercetin. And some of the foods that have a lot of quercetin, which is a natural anti-inflammatory and antihistamine, are onions and garlic, okay? So load up your food with that and take in as much of that as you can get. Some people aren't fond of that, especially onions. You have a lot of onion haters, and that's fine. You just don't care for it. If you are into making a smoothie, the good news for you is a lot of the stuff that we put in a smoothie naturally is high in that quercetin. And that's apples, berries, ginger, fresh ginger, turmeric, okay? Let's see what else. Parsley, basil, okay? These are things that we put in green drinks and stuff, so load up on that. If you're someone who makes a smoothie anyway, look at those things that have the quercetin, and really that's the smoothie you want during this time to kind of help you out. Not much of a smoothie person, and you can do apple cider vinegar. Make sure it's the good stuff with the mother, couple of tablespoons in a glass of water. I just kind of swig it down. I'm hardcore that way, and I don't mind. I'll just take it, just swig it. It's my personal bottle, and I just take a good swig of that, and it'll kind of clear a lot of this stuff up. Interesting, when you get the sinusitis, you know, the sinuses clog up, we do have to be careful. That can turn into infections, chest infection, sinus infection. And interesting, it's in the area of your third eye. So it gets clogged and you're just so plugged up, and hard to be a seer, hard to function during this time. I feel you. I mean, I hit like my 40s, and all of a sudden I was allergic to the world, our environment. And ask yourself why that's happening, since we're from here, we were born here. You shouldn't be allergic to the world. In the past, I think that we had a little bit of hay fever. Grandparents and stuff would have a little bit of hay fever, and they would take care of it naturally. We didn't have so many over-the-counter remedies and stuff. And I repeat on that, you know, if you need that, then go do it. If you got to do something that's fast acting because it's debilitating for you and you've got to get through the day, you've got work to accomplish, I totally understand. I also will say that anytime that I have to take something like that to get through this time, I almost feel doubly worse the next day. It's almost like it inhibits the histamines, and I'm grateful for that because I functioned that day. You know, I didn't have to not wear contact lenses. I don't wear those anyway, but a lot of you do. I didn't have to use an inhaler, but I almost feel worse, like it stopped something that needed to happen, and we needed to let it happen. So I think things that are softer acting and let us naturally take care of it. You know, when the histamines are up, it is because your immune system feels like it's being attacked, and it is being attacked a bit. And like I said, we're already at that tipping point. It just doesn't take much to get us like where, you know, it's debilitating, like I said. So the foods, the smoothies is a good way to go. If you're doing that anyway in the morning, look for the ingredients in your smoothie that have the quercetin, and which is most of the stuff that you put in there. Like I said, apples, berries, parsley, things that clean out the liver as well. Our liver, go back and look at some of my other videos, that liver takes care of us so much. It cleans out so much garbage, and it needs support. Echinacea is a good one for that. So I'll move on to the herbs. Echinacea, golden seal. These are things that we will take to stay well during cold and flu season. I encourage it during allergy season. Same kind of symptoms, same kind of attack on the immune system. So your immune system's like, help me out, please. And then the other thing is elderberries. I did a video on making elderberry syrup. I really suggest you check that out. If you like to make your own stuff, you like to be a little in control of what's in your medicine cabinet, you can make your own. You can order stuff like that too. I'm sure there's a lot of companies that do a great job if you don't have time to go through the process. But check out my video on elderberry syrup too. Lemongrass, I happen to grow that in my backyard. Dry it, chop it up really fine, put that in a tea. And then a lot of these things, if you are dealing with nettles, lemongrass, golden seal, let's see what I have here, echinacea, of course, and what's my favorite? Oh, nettles. Nettles, they just keep your nutrition up. You could probably live off of nettles and good, clean, alkaline water and survive for a whole year. Now, I'm not a doctor, but if you were in the wilderness and you had those two things, you would live and possibly even thrive. Which brings me to my next thing is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting works for a lot of people. It helps your body clean things out. We get so clogged up, and then you add food and dairy, which is a no-no because it's a mucus-producing food, and lemongrass also reduces mucus, makes it flow a little faster, and it lessens up the amount of mucus. When you're so full of that in your head, your ears, your throat, everything, I mean, and you sound like you're a sick person, which is why at the grocery store, they cleared the way for me. I might use that as a tactic. If I'm annoyed and there's too many people, I might have a sneezing fit. I'm just saying. The other thing is we have essential oils that are really great for this. If you have a diffuser, eucalyptus and spearmint as a combination, phenomenal. If you've been to my place and you suffer from asthma, I have heard that coming into my place that because I diffuse it so often and year round actually, because it cleanses the air as well, people feel like they can breathe at my place. I've always used it for clients that were getting treatments and wellness treatments. It's relaxing. It opens up. It's a vasodilator, opens up all of the lungs, everything, the sinuses, and it's peaceful. You can bathe in that too with a carrier oil. I also suggest you could put it in a roll-on, and if you're not going to do any of those things and you just had eucalyptus, which this one you could get at like a Whole Foods, you don't even have to place an order. You can just run to your Whole Foods or Sprouts or something and pick up eucalyptus and lavender. They seem to keep on hand. The two most popular, maybe a tea tree, but just slowly bring it up. We don't want to bust out our olfactory lobes there. Give it a good inhale. Oh my God. Ugh. Very good. They make bath fizzies out of this stuff. Eucalyptus is amazing. It's always a go-to to like open you up so you can think and you can see through your eyes, and it's really hard sometimes when allergies are attacking. And if they're attacking you, attack back. And these are ways to attack back. Also, the Neti Pot. Of course, we've heard about the Neti Pot. My only caution with that is if you don't clean that pot out correctly and sanitize it correctly, you can introduce bacteria up into the nasal passages, and you have a blood barrier there up near the brain. You need to be careful. In fact, for the testing for the virus, that is when they stick the swab clear up there, they bust through the blood barrier between the nasal and the brain. So with the Neti Pot, we don't need a flesh-eating bacteria that we're shooting up into that area. So sanitizing that is a very, very big deal. If you're a little nervous about that, you can get over-the-counter saline sprays. Even for the Neti Pot, always use a salt water solution for that. Salt kills all kinds of bacteria. You don't want to put just tap water in something like that. So I kind of like the sprays. It's just, it's already there. Other than steroid spray. And like I say, I mean, if you are suffering and you've got to make it through the day, you may have to go to these things. They have their place, okay? But if we get too dependent on it, and then like I said, sometimes the next day you feel double worse. So, I don't know, I'm careful if I have to use anything like that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is I did a whole video on the Gua Sha. As a beauty tool, lift, tone the face. I also talked about it being a wellness tool. You can check out that video as well. If you have a true Gua Sha tool that is a real stone and it'll be cool to the touch, that's how you know you got the good stuff there. This is the time to start moving it in this sinus area. We don't want an infection here. If stuff gets clogged up, that's why I like the lemongrass. It loosens the mucus up. Anything that gets clogged up here has potential to create an infection. So making these moves and putting some pressure with this thing. This is a rose quartz. Oh, it feels good. Nice and cold. Kind of dig in there a little bit and move it on up into the scalp. I encourage you to watch that video because I gave you good instruction on this. Stroke this area with the sinuses. Help it clear out. It's also an energetic thing. You're stressed out already, then the allergies hit you, the stress increases, the inflammation increases. It's a vicious cycle. So to get through this time and enjoy the outdoors, I just encourage you to look at these things as a daily practice during this time. Sometimes it is hard to keep a daily practice. We don't feel very disciplined. But if I were to say, like it was just from these months to these months, a short span, I think you could do that. You could definitely do that. I know you can. Just get up and have a plan for yourself. You're going to feel better and you don't have to pop a lot of over-the-counter stuff. Your body will thank you for it. Your liver will definitely thank you for it. And that smoothie, going back to smoothie, teas and herbs, cleans the liver out. And also, it leaves some room for this inflammation to go down in your body to kind of take care of itself. It was always designed to take care of itself. There's just always a lot that kind of gets in the way. I don't know. A test. I guess it's a test of our discipline and what we're willing to do to take care of ourselves. The other thing is you might need more rest. The allergies tend to make you feel like you have a chronic cold. Hence the grocery store. They were sure that I had something and they weren't taking any chances. So they were running away. Yeah, good for me. So, and I know it's allergies. I have this every year. So if there is a limit on sneezing, what is well versus sick, well, then I'm always going to be considered sick during this time because it just comes, The body's trying to release that. The histamines are up and it can be hard to even sleep during this time. So lemongrass, I love it because it also aids with sleep, lessens and loosens up the mucus. Give it a try. Elderberry, oh my gosh. Very good for the kids too, especially with the syrup. In my video, I teach you how to make a syrup and you can sweeten that how you need to for your family. If you have diabetics in the family, you may not want to just get an elderberry product over the counter. They use a lot of sugar in that stuff. So you have to be aware. Maybe you just do that for yourself. Check that out. The other thing is the biofeedback. And I'm a biofeedback practitioner. One thing you can do is it will scan you. It will tell you everything from herbs, oils, vitamins, increasing vitamin D, increasing magnesium is also good during this time. The vitamin D, the magnesium, something magical happens there that is helpful. But that scan also will get into chemical sensitivities. other environmental sensitivities, electrical sensitivities. I did a video on that for sleep. Too much electricity coming in will, like, the body gets frayed and it's in a weakened condition. And then here we go. All this stuff is growing and attack. You got to attack back. You got to protect yourself. It's a little bit of a war on the environment versus you. Our environment was not meant to be this way, but it is what it is. And these are survival tools. So maybe we just start a daily practice and we save the over-the-counter stuff for if we're just not functioning and we have something important to do, and just save it for that. I save it for like once a week if I have an important meeting or something I have to do. That's when I save it, because I just can't take the chance that I just look like a mess. So if you are suffering from allergies and also food allergies and everything, think about the biofeedback. I mean, it'll tell you exactly what to stay away from. And like energetically, it'll tell you just what is not working for you right now and what to include. It also tells you what to include. And so I really love it for that. Like I said, rest, oils, herbs, foods, take the edge off for yourself. You're intelligent. You can do this. Some of this stuff you can find at a Whole Foods, grocery store, over the counter, saline spray. Keep that cleansed out and blow, and let it out. It wants to come out a little bit. And so some of these things that dry you up, and you feel like you want to chew on something or whatever, because it makes you like crazy or it makes you so sleepy, like these things have such an effect and a hard effect on our system, when we could have done something that is softer acting. And we're impatient. It's now. So start it as a daily practice. By the end of the week, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised that you are navigating this much better. You need the inhaler less. You need the over-the-counter less. But do what's best for you. I promote, you're an individual, you know your body, listen to your body. Don't be afraid to put some effort in. Take some effort on your part too, to take care of this vehicle, this avatar. It's saying, hey, wake up, take care of me, and don't always do it the easy way. That's nonsense. So, and you're also sending a message out that you don't care about your body that much. I would never send that message out. So I hope you enjoyed this. Look me up for biofeedback. I would love to give you a session. I'm running a special, $25. It's the scan and the session. All your markers will come up. We go through all of that, and it will do a report. It'll tell you kind of what to stay away from and what is beneficial for you. Very individualized, very cool. Very cutting edge, very quantum physics, very quantum level. So a lot of people don't really know about it, and I encourage you to check it out. You be the pioneer, you try it out. So I love you, and I'm right there with you. I'm having a decent morning. It's because I did a lot of these things for myself so I could. And if not, I'm gonna sneeze away at the store and clear those people out of my way. Like I said, it's between us. Secret club. Love you. Bye.